Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Double Down podcast. We coming to you live on a Monday night from California and Texas. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, and I'm joined by the chosen one, the young OG himself, Cohen. Cohen, how you feeling, big dog?
I'm feeling pretty bouncy, if you will. But, Josh, not only
Bounty.
are we Wing down today, we're tripling down because we're talking about three different sports, and I'm
Yee.
really excited to get into it.
Yee. All right.
Wait.
Well,
Did you say yeet? Huh, huh.
yee.
Yeet.
Yee.
Huh, huh. Yeet.
Let's see. So, like Cohen said, we're kind of getting back into the swing of NBA playoffs. First round is in full swing. Um, and then we had the draft this past Thursday, and a lot of post WrestleMania stuff to kind of catch up on. With last week's SmackDown and tonight's Raw going down. So we'll get to that towards the end. We had the NFL draft happened last Thursday. Quite a bit to talk about there as well. But the thing that's really on all of our minds right now, especially me and Cohen being the massive basketball fans that we are, is the NBA playoffs and a lot of stuff to talk about in this first round. We'll go and get it cracking with the West first, and then Cohen's going to lead us with the East. But first of all, with the West, um, a result that we kind of all expected. Didn't know exactly if it was going to go 4 games or if the Grizzlies were going to get 1 game in Memphis, but that was not meant to be. And the 1 seed Thunder completed the sweep of the Grizzlies this past weekend. Going like we were talking about, not a whole lot to say about it. We both kind of expected that result. Anything to add, sort of, to that series? Also, maybe how the Grizzlies came out looking, and what next season kind of holds for them.
I
Just kind of
mean,
briefly.
yeah, the Grizzlies, I think they came out looking better than the Thunder in a way because, be honest with me, they were never meant to win this series, let
No, no,
alone
no.
really win a game. That's a good job. You did good if you win a game. But, the fact that they probably would have won two separate games if Ja didn't end up getting taken out at some point in those 2 games, and
Mhm.
then a massive comeback from the Thunder in Game 3, correct?
Yeah, man. Yeah, in Game 3, the Grizzlies were blowing them out like by 30, right? Like 29 points at half. The Grizzlies were up by. Ja went out a little bit before halftime, and then that just deflated them completely.
I mean, they held on past half, but then, or to half, but after they got to half, it went down. Like, the Grizzlies were never the same after that in Game 3, let alone Game 4. Game 4 was ugly for them, and I mean, did y'all play that game? I'm not completely sure. I didn't end
Uh,
up watching that game.
I don't think so.
So yeah, I mean, Jawless in Game 4 against the OKC Thunder, they could have sat SGA and J
Yeah,
Dub, and they still would have won that game. So I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
definitely.
no confidence in Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson to win a game for them against
Yeah,
the team
the
of the Thunder. But I
the
mean,
yeah
valiant effort.
the Grizzlies kind of returned after having Ja for pretty much the whole year, and him kind of just sticking to basketball, not really any antics until a little bit towards the end of the year. But they kind of returned to what they kind of look like. Like we did say though, when we've been talking about them, is they kind of took a step back defensively, and not having the guys like Marcus Smart and Dylan Brooks. Like those guys were huge parts of their identity those couple years ago when they were actually pretty solid and kind of on the rise. We'll see next year. They should be competitive for like a playoff spot again. But is what it is. We all kind of saw this coming a mile away. Um,
Yeah.
but so the Thunder took home that win, and they are going to face. And they took that series, advanced to the second round, conference semifinals, and they're going to face the winner of the 4-5 matchup between the 4 seed Nuggets and the 5 seed Clippers, which is at 2 games apiece. Cohen, I think I kind of talked about this
Woo!
when we've been talking about it already. Um, Even though not all the games have been totally close, there have been a couple, at least one like true blowout in there. but I still have confidence that this game is going to go seven. This series is going to go 7 games, especially seeing how it ended. Seeing that ridiculous buzzer beater to by Aaron Gordon to seal Game 4 and tie the series up. Cohen, how do you see this best of 3 series going now between the Nuggets and the Clippers?
I mean, you said there's at least one blowout. If I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure each team had a blowout loss and a blowout win. But not wait.
Well,
Yeah, that's how that would work. I'm pretty sure each team won one in a close game and blew each other out.
okay, yeah, I think so.
Like,
I
I'm
think
pretty
you're right.
sure there's been like each team is just got blown out, and maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong. I'm not
No,
sure.
I think you might be right. But there's
I don't know if
definitely
I'm
been
saying
two.
that correctly.
There's definitely been 2 down to the wire super close games. That's for sure.
Yeah. There's been 2 close games, and then each team got one blowout win.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's been a real good series. I look like a damn fucking fool
Oh
given
god.
given what I said when we were predicting it.
What did
But
you predict?
I was saying that the Clippers were gonna smack Denver.
Man.
Which, hey, I'm glad I'm wrong. I would rather this be a good series, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Denver doesn't win, all's good in LA.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really hate on the Clippers like all that much anymore. You know, when they first got Kawhi in that 2019 offseason, they got Kawhi and Paul George in the 2019 offseason. That was the same offseason that the Lakers traded for AD. And there was a
Weren't
bit
we
of a
supposed to get
rivalry.
Kawhi?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure were we not supposed to get
That's where
Kawhi?
Kawhi wanted to go. But he didn't want to essentially because you join a team with LeBron and you're gonna automatically kind of be second fiddle. And he
And then
wanted
you
it to
also have
be
AD.
he wanted well, AD wasn't there yet. This was before we got AD. Oh, actually,
I thought we were gonna get both. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
that's
in
what
free agency
I'm
because
pretty sure that's what I remember saying.
we traded for Anthony Davis. That's true. You reminded me of that. But
And then
it
the
shook out
Clippers
the way
traded
it
for
did,
Paul George, which brought
which had
Kawhi
Kawhi
to
go and join the
Clippers.
team. Then when that season, I didn't like all the cockiness. And to be fair, Clippers regular season were whooping our ass for the last few years. Only this last season and a half that we kind of got back on level playing field with them. All the injuries they've had and stuff like that. But I think we're kind of remembering that the Nuggets are the Nuggets and Nikola Jokic is Nikola Jokic. And he's gonna have you in any game, in contention to win any game. Like, yeah, teams can get blown out. Anybody can get blown out, but anybody can have a game that comes down to the wire. Um Jokic is still MVP finalist. Like I said, me and Cohen. Did I predict I think I kind of picked Jokic. Even though I think
I
Shea
probably
probably
all
will
picked
win it.
Jay.
But
Maybe not on the official one, but I'm pretty sure me, you, and Kyle had all picked Jay on that one
yeah,
that he decided to
yeah,
be
the
like,
very
"Oh, what's
uh-huh.
the MVP?"
Yeah. Yeah, well, we didn't do it as officially, but um yeah, this series has been very entertaining, and that last game proved like is the living, breathing reason why this series has been so good. Because these teams are just matched up so well. You got Kawhi and Kawhi, who is looking like 2019 Kawhi again. He's shown how he could take over games flat out, and that's uh, no matter how we feel about the Clippers, like that's still pretty dope to see that Kawhi's still doing it. And the more great players you have in the league, the better the league is. Just the better the games are in general. You know what I mean? And
See that?
you know, not a whole lot else to say about it. Like it's just been very entertaining so far, and especially with the matter like that final sequence in that game with the buzzer beater was so crazy.
Not to mention
Jokic
Jokic trap.
Jokic walks down. It's a tie game. Jokic walks down with like 30 some seconds left. Hits a mid range shot to put them up by 2. Clippers get the ball. James Harden goes for a floater, misses it. Zubac tips it in with about 16 seconds left to tie it. Then the Nuggets call timeout to get the last possession. Jokic misses that 3-pointer, and Aaron Gordon is in the right place at the right time. Like it was just so fitting that the game ended that way because it was such a back and forth bonkers game. But it makes it kind of impossible to predict how the next few games are going to go. They're going back to Denver. We're going to see how that goes. I'm very intrigued to see how the rest of it plays out.
Correct.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So Cohen, let's go ahead and rip the band-aid off right now. Get it over
No.
with. We got to talk about it at least a little bit. If it's too painful to talk about, we don't got to spend forever on it. But our glorious Lake Show is down 3 games to 1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I watched the entirety of that game. I know you did too. Um,
I cried at the end of it.
it
So
just hurt. It just hurts, bruh. It just hurts. Seeing the kind of game that we were having. The Lakers were dominating at one point. Up by 10 in the third quarter. Started, looking like a well-oiled machine until they weren't. You know what I mean? Until Ant took over. Nas Reed, who had made he had 4 points going into the fourth quarter, and they gave him the ball. He just kind of walked down. They just kind of handed him the ball, popped the three right in somebody's face, and he was just on fire from there. You got Jaden McDaniels scoring 25 plus again. The Wolves, man, the Wolves are really built. They're kind of built perfectly around Ant, in my opinion, and that's really showing because Ant's busting everybody's ass in this series. Anybody who tries to guard him, he's giving them the business. But it's the guys around him that are like stepping up. And Rudy Gobert, even for his elbows into the back of Bron's head, he's stepped
probably
up.
should have got ejected for that, but
He
whatever.
he has stepped up. He's stepped up and kind of flipped the perception on its head of Luka kind of owning him. I mean, because I think Luka's gotten a few buckets on him in this series, but
Look, every
did you
single time
find?
he's guarded Luca has absolutely tore him apart. He didn't flip anything about Luca owning him. Just
I've
because his team's
seen
winning doesn't mean he's
no,
stopping
I
Luca.
I
Luca's destroying him as a one-on-one matchup.
you didn't let me finish. The two I have seen two big plays happen where he's trying to Luka's trying to shake down Rudy, and Rudy just strips the ball on his way up, or just kind of pokes the ball out of his hands. And I don't know, Rudy's kind of showing that like he's because it was like last year when it was Dallas versus Minnesota in that conference finals, like Luca flat out embarrassed Rudy and he kind of played him off the floor, like showed that he was kind of unplayable because they were just going to hunt for that matchup. But I don't know if the Lakers are built. I don't know. We just at this point, I'm not counting us out. Lakers in 7, job's not done. I'm a hold out
It's
faith
not
for
over.
us. It's
It's
not
not
over
over.
till it's over. But
No, 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 no,
I
no.
just
It's
don't.
not over until we win. That's what you're supposed to say. Come on.
It's not over until I see the final buzzer. But um, I don't know. I'm just not having the most confidence in the world that the Lakers are kind of built to handle Ant and all the pieces like around him. At least that's what I mean. We definitely could have won that game. Probably should have when you look at the refereeing and the calls and them pulling out a brand new, never before seen camera angle to to call that foul on LeBron, which it was, down there underneath the basket. But it's just unfortunate when it comes down to stuff like that at the end of the game when you shouldn't have even been in that spot in the first place.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Colin? That was your cue to hop in.
So I don't want to say much about it, so I'm gonna say a very simple sentence, and then you're gonna say whatever you want to say, and you can end it. OKC, KFC, UFC, Lakers in 7. Bye bye, Ant.
Brother, we're not even playing the Thunder.
I said
When
bye
you
bye, Ant.
but you said OKC, KFC, UFC.
Oh my god, bro. You're making me sound stupid. It doesn't matter. It's just a statement. Move on.
Oh, oh man, all right. Sorry, champ.
Matter of fact is, we're gonna make Ant our bitch. We're gonna put Bronny on him, and that's how the game and the series ends. I promise. Trust in Bronny. I promise. Trust in Bronny.
Okay, so last series to talk about is the game that is currently on right now. That I got on right now. It's currently tied 57-57 between the Warriors and the Rockets in Golden State. This is game 4. The Warriors currently lead 2-1. Very intense game, very intense series overall. Draymond's been getting heated. Everybody's been getting heated, as Draymond, the pest that he is. But um, the way the game's sort of going right now, I'm thinking that the Rockets are going to probably tie this series up, make it 2-2, going back to Houston. But It's been really interesting to see how these teams match up too. Like last game, there was no Jimmy Butler missed last game, but Steph had a classic Steph performance, and he just torched them. Nothing they could really do about it. But you know the Rockets' young core is showing that they are not afraid. They have Cerro Miedo, if you will, looking at the Warriors and thinking that they can beat them, and they definitely can. And they've showed that with the fight that they're giving so far in this series. How do you feel about it, going?
I mean, you're not wrong about the vintage Steph performance, and honestly, I would put that over a lot of his performances that we've seen him have in some of his all time games. Because when you think about his all time games, most of the time there was either KD, Clay, I mean, even Jimmy Butler, and some of the more recent ones. But he had nobody to take the attention away from him at all. That
Mm-hmm.
was them focusing on Steph and Steph doing what Steph's known to do, doing a little Team USA moment and just absolutely carrying the Warriors to win. So I mean, I don't know. And you're not wrong. That it looks like Houston will end up getting this game because I mean,
Just
I
the way,
think
just with the way,
Draymond will be
yeah,
out by the end of the third. Even if the Warriors
yeah.
are on that 10-0 run, Draymond won't be in the game by the end of the third
I
quarter.
know,
He won't.
just with the way the momentum's swinging, like it could go either way. Like Golden State could win, but I don't know. Like an official prediction, like it's hard to say right now because it is a close game. But I could see it going either way. I'm not going to say flat out I think Houston will win, but I would like to see it happen so that it could be a long series, as a series as long as it goes, and so that
I
they
just
would
want
be
to say
and so that they would be just as tired as we would after we win in 7 games. But what were we going to say, Colin?
I just want to say that you said something about the Rockets having momentum, and then the Warriors proceeded to finish their 10-0 run with a three, and then completely obliterate Jalen Green on a layup. So
Yeah, I
that's the
know.
series
Yeah,
for you.
that's just the way it's going. It's really flipping back and forth. It's been cray cray.
Yeah, and the fact that it was a 10-0 run, I mean, it's 63-57 right now. Well, pending on that shot if they count it or not. I don't know if you saw that Jalen Green layup,
Yeah.
but if they count it, it'll be 59-63. But no, this game has just been a game of runs. This series has been a series, in those games, it's been a game of runs. It's just whoever's hot at the right moment. Draymond has 5 fouls right now,
I know he's
including a
got.
tech.
I was gonna mention that. I just saw the graphic pop up. It said 6 points, 5 fouls. Draymond about to get
Including
another
a tech,
pick
by the way.
if you don't stop yapping to Tari Eason.
Torrey Eason and Amen Thompson are the two worst players besides Dylan Brooks to be in the middle of, and for some
I
reason he's
know.
in the middle of them. So,
Draymond does not care. Draymond's
and
gonna no, but then honestly,
I
I
think
think he's
Draymond's
gonna
about to
try
get
to
tech. I'm
score,
pretty sure Draymond's about it.
or
Yeah, I think he just got.
or
Oh yeah, he just got teed up.
or Steve Kerr might. Oh, I think he did. He's leaving. Man, what a
Oh, he
time!
just. Oh wow, he just flipped off the refs.
That's insane.
Welcome to a little play-by-play.
Not to get totally as caught up in it going on right now, but you just mentioned that, Cohen. Like Draymond, like we keep on mentioning, like you love to have him on your team, or maybe he's not getting. I don't know if he's getting. He might not have got ejected. They haven't flashed up anything that said he got ejected. They might have just taken him out. Um, but
But everybody started. There had to have been a tech somewhere because everybody
yeah,
started like
probably for
standing up and
Kerr.
getting on that.
Probably for Kerr. Well, I haven't seen any
But they're
technicals
lined up,
though.
no? Yeah, but they're lined up right now. So I don't know. That
No,
was a
no
little
technical right
odd.
there. No technical right there. But
They must have warned him or something because everybody
yeah,
got
probably.
super mad.
Most likely. But that's what I mean. Like, so like we always talk about, loving to have Draymond on your team, but hating to play against him. This might
You
be
also
like,
hate to have him
well, yeah,
because
that's what I
he'll
was gonna
cost
say.
you.
He might end like him not if he doesn't play. He has 5 fouls, so if he gets teed up or if he gets another foul, he's disqualified from the game. So like it kind of comes down to he might end up being the reason why they kind of lose this game if he because he is such a great leader on the floor and everybody rallies behind him, and it looks like the Warriors are really taking
Oh
advantage
wow,
of all that intensity right now, and they just busted open the lead. It's busted the lead open to 10 points, but
big three from
um,
Mister Buddy Healed.
right. So interesting to see how the game ends up going. Again, the game's not over. It's still a quarter and a half left, like 1.5 quarters left. So this series has been very entertaining so far, almost as entertaining as the Nuggets and Clippers.
Yeah, we spent a little too much time on that one because we started having a little play-by-play chit-chat
Right,
about
we did,
about
we
the
did.
game as it happened. But you're welcome for the play-by-play, guys.
Right, so that's how that goes on the West. Colin, why don't you take us over there to the East and talk about what's been going on in those series?
All right, so just like we talked about the 1-8 matchup first out west, we're going to talk about the 1-8 out east. Yet again, not much to talk about, Josh. The Cavaliers kind of just showed no mercy and killed the Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo led Heat, which honestly nobody thought they were gonna make the playoffs. I don't think. I didn't think they were gonna make the playoffs. I mean, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't like really particularly good at anything. So I'm interested to see what you think, but I don't know. It's kind
Yeah,
of wish wash.
yeah. I told you 35 points earlier. The Heat lost by 55 points, 138 to 83. Wait, let me just do my math real quick and make sure that's the correct. Let's see. 138 minus 83. Yeah, that's 55. So
Oh
again,
wow.
kind of unfortunate to see the Heat going outside like that. We'll see how they kind of bounce back next year. Having like because I don't know Tyler Hero's exact contract situation, but like bro is definitely kind of on that like somebody will give him something kind of close to a max probably. Um,
He's on his second year. In 2022, he signed a 4-year, $130 million contract extension with the Heat.
so he's got like
2 years left, I believe.
2 years left. 2 years left. But with no Jimmy
Or
Butler
maybe it
there,
might be just next season. I'm not sure. I'm not sure
with no
technically when. Because of the date, it doesn't say the date. It just says
uh
2022. So it could have been
w-
mid-season or it could have been
yeah,
off-season, which would change it. But
with no Jimmy Butler there, I mean, I think that kind of leaves the Heat in the weird kind of spot. Like they don't have some. I mean, you could say that like Tyler and Bam are almost just about elite, but they don't have a excuse me, they don't have a true like full blown like top 10 player in the league, which is like something that you kind of need to be competitive um, and to have a legit shot at winning a title. Um, I don't know. Heat culture is definitely a thing, like we talked about, and like I think the Heat they're gonna be able to bounce back a little bit and still be kind of in that same spot depending on what they do with the roster. But the Heat is the Heat, and I think everybody kind of I didn't personally didn't think that this series was going to be a sweep. I thought it was going to go 5, maybe even 6, but Cavs made quick work of it, and they're trying to get as much rest as they can
as
before they
much
got.
rest, they're going to get a lot of rest.
Yeah, they're trying to take full advantage of playing the minimum amount of games in a playoff series before they got to play the winner of the 4 and 5 matchup, which is between who, Cohen?
It is the Pacers and Bucks, and it doesn't look like they're going to have that much rest on Pacers Bucks as Pacers are currently leading 3-1. So
Mm-hmm.
unless Giannis says, I don't care, I'm LeBron when he's playing just with the other Cavaliers, no notable names, just the other Cavs, then the series is over.
Yeah.
It's just over. Kawhi, okay, well, Kawhi's on the other side of the bracket.
Hey man, don't
Giannis
worry,
is
bro.
just,
Don't worry, bro.
uh-huh,
Keep it, keep it, keep it pushing.
Giannis he has no help. Kuzma hasn't done jack. Um,
And not to mention
there's nothing to help him.
Damian Lillard just tore his Achilles.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I think I just said he was out. I don't think I mentioned that, but yeah, Dame just tore his left Achilles to be specific. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but Dame's out for the foreseeable future into next season, probably until
Mm-hmm.
All-Star break at minimum.
Yeah,
So, I mean, now
that's
that leaves the Bucks in a hard spot because
uh,
they have all that money on the books and they're not going to be able to move it. So, I'm
yeah.
curious to see what they do.
I feel kind of bad for Giannis. Like,
I feel bad for Dame. Bro
well,
just got
both of
back.
them, for sure. But they were looking pretty good. Like they made that game 3 that they went and won on Friday. Like that was a good. I mean, or maybe it wasn't a good. game, but I think they won the game kind of convincingly, and they were kind of showing like, no, we're not gonna just take it lying down. Like we're gonna we're gonna fight back, and they won a game to bring the series to 2-1. But just losing Dame is like devastating. So they could if Gary Trent Jr. has another 37-point game. Hey, anything is possible. They can make the series a little longer than we're expecting, but at the end of the day, like the Pacers are such a well-oiled machine, and like they're kind of cooking, bro. They're cooking, and Halliburton is looking to kind of like redeem himself. I feel like after people kind of slept on him a little bit. I feel like, and people thinking he took a dip and play or whatever it may be, but like Halliburton's still
Never
Halliburton.
debate. Never,
And he,
never disrespect my goat's name.
yeah, and he's for sure he's for sure still like a top 5 point guard in the league. So like the
Oh,
Pacers are still the Pacers. They're built pretty well around Halliburton and what he provides and stuff like that, being like an amazing playmaker. And then they got the defensive guys and the really good scorers and Siakam and well, who else they got that's really good? Neesmith? Is Neesmith a really good scorer for
Aaron
them?
Naismith, Andrew Nemhard, Benedict Mathurin, everybody on their team is
Oh,
a decent scorer.
Ben
Miles
Mathurin's
Turner,
pretty good.
even
Yeah, Ben
McConnell
Mathurin's
wasn't
solid.
bad at least creating shots for people.
Yeah.
Their team's just really well built. It's just not great defensively, which was kind of the story of last year. But as
Mm-hmm.
a team, they've kind of stepped it up, and that's the reason why they're this 4 seed, beating Giannis and
Mm-hmm.
Dame. Well,
Yeah,
Giannis and formerly Dame,
yeah.
but
So that's kind of how that series goes. The Pacers might close it out, and then I would say it's about 75-80% chance that Pacers close it out in the next game. The Bucks are just going to be feeling super depleted. They're not going to come out. They're not going to go down without a fight. Like they're still gonna expect the Giannis like at least 30-point game. But
I would expect a 40-50 out of him in this elimination game.
yeah, they're gonna
Either
build
that or
everything into
Gary
the
Trent
wall
drops up 30.
because just like our Lakers, the Bucks are like fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their playoff lives, and they want to even without Dame. Like obviously, you want to advance. Even if going into the next round, you would have to play the Cavs. Like nobody's gonna just like totally quit on their season unless you're Miami, like Charles Barkley was saying. Losing by 55 is atrocious.
And once you get down by 30 at that point and you're not the Thunder, you might as well call it quits.
Right.
Tyler Hero
Basically.
and Bam weren't. Let's be so transparent. Tyler Hero and Bam weren't bringing him back from that. It's not Shea and J Dub. Wasn't
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
They didn't have
Exactly.
the MVP of the league calling my
Yeah.
shot. But Josh, I think that's a good spot to kind of kick it to the 2-7 matchup, which is the Celtics and Magic. Another series that's kind of getting out of hand, if you will. Celtics took a 3-1 lead, and if the Magic couldn't beat them without Tatum, and I know we said this last Monday, but if they can't beat them with Tatum, they're not beating them. It's not happening. Paulo would have to do unhuman like numbers.
Right, he would have to do those. He would have to do those crazy numbers, but then like that's
Rollins would have to step up.
yeah, and that's without mentioning all the people who could pop off and go crazy for Boston. So like
like Al Horford,
yeah, I think
5 blocks, most blocks
yeah.
by a player his age, I think, or something like that. It was like most
Right.
blocks by a player over 40 or something. Which
I don't think he's 40 yet.
I don't know. I saw something about that, or maybe it was like 38 or something. But
Yeah, probably 38. But and then obviously Jaylen Brown can go stupid
your days there.
and go for 36. Like so, and Porzingis is still Porzingis.
So you have to say the right name.
Tingus Pingus is still that guy.
There we
go. Yeah, not a whole lot to say about it. Like the Celtics are built for playoff success. Like that's why they freaking won the championship pretty easily last year. But you know, is what it is. Like shout out to the Magic. Magic got a bright future ahead of them. We'll see how they can kind of build around Paolo going forward. They do have their young core is super solid. I mean, in Cohen, we've seen that sort. We saw that kind of like when in one of the games that they played against the Lakers when Franz kind of
we got destroyed by Franz.
Yeah, and hit that game winner. Like that's their core for the future. I feel like those two guys.
What's up with us losing to game winners, Josh? I don't get
Hey,
it. It's always game
it's
winners.
it's
Always.
un- it's unfortunate. That's the curse of being a Lakers fan, I
Boo
guess.
Jamal Murray.
But shout out to the Magic. Not shout out to the Celtics. I will not shout out the Celtics, but that series is looking pretty much handled.
You know what? Shout out to
Um,
Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown for carrying the Celtics, but like, not shout out to the Celtics. You know?
right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we got
All
one more
right.
series out east.
One more series out east. They'll play the winner of the Celtics Magic series. It's Knicks Pistons, which is also a 3-1 series. Although I think this is the most likely out of the three series that we just talked about to go into 7.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, I'll let you kind of lead us for this one
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
for
not
sure.
much to say.
Not
It's
a
kind
whole
of a
lot to
gritty mess.
say. Not a whole lot to say, but the series, even though it's 3-1, still been very entertaining. I am living for Cade Cunningham like coming into his own and showing people on the national. I think the Pistons are going to get a lot more national TV games next year, wouldn't you say?
Uh,
Not a lot,
Probably, but I don't think
but
I don't think it'll be like 3, 4, maybe 5 more than what they. No, it'll be maybe 2, maybe 3 more than what they had this year.
they
And I
had
don't
like
think they had
one
like.
this year. They had like
They'll
zero
probably get
this
to like
year,
5 or 6 then. No, I know
but
they had. I'm
they're
pretty sure every team gets one, but
yeah,
at least
but they're gonna be sort of like I don't know. Well, basically, all I'm trying to say is like the Pistons really showing up and showing everybody why, like how they made this turnaround, and like the players who have led the charge, like Cade, Jalen Duren being a dog every time I see him. Um, Asar Thompson being a beast, guy the vets like Schroeder and Hardaway and Tobias Harris really like we've kind of said about them so far, kind of all pulling their weight and playing their role. Again, I wouldn't if I was a betting man, I wouldn't have put my money on the Knicks like
the
winning.
Knicks.
But I think oh no, wait, hold on.
You
I
were saying you
wouldn't
wouldn't put your money on the Knicks winning. You meant the Pistons now.
Yeah, well, but this one was kind of tough to call for me because even though I figured the Knicks were the better team, like I don't know, the Pistons are plucky and they could come in and survive and surprise some fools, but and they kind of have by making these games very interesting to watch. But this result, what it's looking like, I think the Pistons will win one more game. I think they win game 5, but then I think the Knicks will kind of wrap it up in game 6. But when you get to a game 6, and you know that anything can happen in any game, like who knows, they lose it and then it goes to a game 7. So this series is still sort of hard for me to call. Like even though I think the Knicks are going to wrap it up in the next game or two, it still could go either way. But shout out to the Knicks doing their thing. Jalen Brunson's still popping off. Cat, oh my God, Cole, we were kind of watching that game together. Cat, Carl Anthony
Yeah,
Towns
we've been watching a
taking
lot of games
over,
together, especially the ones on
bro,
the weekends.
Cat taking over that game and hitting some of the shots that he hit, bro. That
That's
step
little
back
step back
from
from
Gary and
logo.
Logo,
Yeah,
man,
we
like
and thank the Lord our games were synced on that because we both kind of
yeah,
little pop for that. Even Kyle was there and he got a pop for that, but
like
that was
crazy.
just yeah. Step
Something
back
crazy
three
to
from a
see.
big like that's a Steph Curry Dame time shot. What is Cat
When
doing?
we watched it, I was like, Cohen, that was some street ball stuff right there. Like that was
Yeah, you did say
insane.
that.
That he just stepped back and just nyat and just freaking splashed it,
That was
man.
a
That was nuts.
Jokic shot. He didn't even like that was not a like jump shot. He like just like
Yo,
sling
for sure,
it.
that was definitely Jokic, but it looked crazy. Seeing him hit that, I was definitely thinking of Jokic. Like that was
No,
crazy.
that was the most Jokic shot that anybody not named Nikola Jokic or that's like European could hit.
And for sure, I think those Europeans got something different.
I mean, Luka Jokic. I mean,
Dirk,
Dirk,
Dirk Nowitzki, all time.
specifically Dirk, Luka, and Jokic. At least in terms of
Yeah.
the stupid shots. Dirk
Uh-huh.
a lot less than Luka and Jokic. I feel, but still.
Well, maybe from what you've seen, because Dirk's way before your time, but still.
No, no, don't get it twisted. Dirk was really good, but he wasn't taking step back threes from the logo. Come
Okay, the
on.
step back. Well, this not he wasn't taking the step backs because that's not what the
Okay,
game
maybe a
was
three
back
from the
then.
logo, but okay, we're spending too much time arguing
No, I
about
know.
if Dirk's taking step back threes from the logo.
Hey,
We can debate this on our own time.
Dirk's
You know
a
I
top
love
10.
Dirk.
He's
I
a top
fried you with the
guy.
all-time Mavs using Dirk. I don't get like don't think that I'm discrediting Dirk.
No, you're good.
That fadeaway is
You're good.
nasty.
No, of
But
course.
Josh, how about you lead us into the next portion of the
Yes,
Zed podcast?
sir. The rest of the playoffs are going to be interesting. Again, we'll say it. Timberwolves, Timberlake, Timberland boots, Lakers in 7, respectfully.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
another
Actually, disrespectfully, don't even.
all right, another
Just because
huge
Ant was all
time
in his face.
in the sports year in the sports calendar of the draft taking place over the weekend. Let's see. Let me go through that. It was top 10 picks real quick. The consensus number one pick, everybody knew it was going to happen. Happened. Cam Ward goes to the Titans. The Jaguars traded up from 5 with the Browns to give the Browns the number 5 pick. The Jaguars at number 2 took Travis Hunter from Colorado. Um,
Hook 'em head.
the the Giants at number 3 took Abdul Carter. The Patriots at 4 took Will Campbell, offensive lineman. Then at number 5, those Browns, after they traded the number 2 pick for this 5 pick, took Mason Graham.
Very interesting pick.
The Raiders at number 6 took Ashton Genty. The Jets at number 7 took offensive lineman Armand Membu. The Panthers at number 8, which was kind of like the first surprise off the board, like that people didn't really see coming. They took Teteroa McMillan, the receiver from Arizona. The Saints at number 9 took offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. And then at number 10, the Bears took tight end Colston Loveland. So when let's just hop right into it. When the Saints didn't take Shedeur Sanders at number 9, I was sort of like, oh snap. Is he gonna fall to 21 to the Steelers? Because you looked at all these teams and they're really not teams that were in need of a starting caliber quarterback right away. Like
At
the
least they were
Niners,
going down after that.
yeah, exactly. Only one
Besides, like the Falcons, maybe if they don't want to go with
yeah, but
Penix,
they
maybe the
and
Seahawks or the
uh
Broncos. Maybe it was really just all you guys.
the Broncos got their future at Bo Nix, but
Wow.
gets to 21, and my Steelers are up. And with the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon, defensive tackle from Oregon. I think I sent the video
And
to
Josh
Connor.
gets heated. Yeah,
Here,
no, we're not gonna get it.
let
Let's
me
not
talk it
get it
out.
twisted.
Let me have the floor. Let me have the floor. Let me get this off my chest.
The floor has been taken away. No floor.
Right, right.
Oh,
So
and one from Jimmy Butler.
I was
Wow.
recording it. I was when it was on. It was on our pick. I was recording the video just to see what was gonna happen. And when they didn't say Shador and they said defensive tackle Derek Harmon. Now let me be fully transparent. Like I didn't know every single prospect and stuff, and I didn't know who Derek Harmon was. So when they said this guy's name that I just had not heard before, and he was a defensive tackle, I flipped the camera around, and it was just like no emotion on my face. I sent that video to Cohen and Kyle just to show them how I
Great
was feeling.
face.
Straight face, no emotion. How I was
That's how
feeling
I
that
felt when
moment.
we traded our pick.
Because look, like my whole mindset with it was like we need a quarterback, but because of the uncertainty of Aaron, we don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to come. And if he does, what is Aaron Rodgers even more? What is he anymore even? But I was like, wow, we really just took a defensive tackle. I was like, well, you know what? Like they made the pick and they made the pick for a reason. I was like, surely the Giants just traded up with the Texans because they're about to draft Shador, right? No, with the 25th pick, they took Jackson Dart, another quarterback. So the second quarterback off the board, and he was not named Shador Sanders. And if you're following sports at all, you know that Shador Sanders did not get drafted that night. He didn't get drafted in the second or third round on Friday. Not in the fourth round, not even in the fourth round. The first round that happened on Saturday. He got drafted by the Browns in the 5th round.
Can you tell me who the Browns took a little bit before that, though, Josh?
Well, the Browns. I'm sorry, the Browns in
I wish we picked someone with
in
his
the third or
quarterback.
fourth round, they picked Dylan Gabriel, quarterback from Oregon, a quarterback from Oregon and the Browns still felt the need to trade into the fifth round to get that pick in the fifth round to take Shador. So now the Browns have a quarterback room of presumably the starter, at the beginning of the year, probably Joe Flacco, um, injured and hopefully banished from the league soon, Deshaun Watson, Super Bowl winning
Boo.
Super Bowl winning quarterback Kenny Pickett,
Woo.
Dylan Gabriel, who they picked, and then Shador. You got five, well, really four, because we're not really counting Deshaun because he's probably not going to play, and you would think that the
No,
Browns
no,
might end
no.
up
There's
cutting him or
five.
something.
No, it's the Infinity Gauntlet. Come on. I'll flash a
Yeah.
picture up of the Infinity Gauntlet. Remind me. Let me write
Okay.
down this timestamp. Alright.
So yeah, so that happens, and to be honest, like I was kind of explaining my point of view from that first night when we took Derek Harmon, and now I'm super hyped to have Derek Harmon. I'm glad he's on the Steelers. You just make our defense even stronger, all that stuff, right? Um, but that slide, the slide that Shador took, like it really had. We were all kind of wondering, like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening? Um, and again, he's better than Jalen
Then
Milrow.
you.
He's better than Tyler Shuff or Shuh or however his name is pronounced, the guy that got drafted by the Saints. I think everybody kind of knows that he's probably better than them. But at the end of the day, um, unfortunately, I think it kind of can. And you can say what you want about Deion Sanders and how involved he is with his sons and stuff like that, and the kind of personality that he is. But at the end of the day, I think the league was trying to send a message like that I don't know, they don't want any kind of involvement with, I don't know, if there's any hint that Dion would be kind of annoying and unwanted media attention and like a negative, not necessarily negative, but just an unnecessary spotlight to them,
No, unwanted, if you will.
unwanted, if you will, like when it's not just about ball, um, then that's probably what scared teams away, and that sucks because I feel like I think Dion just kind of, people are saying he's kind of like LeVar Ball was back with Lonzo and LaMelo and LiAngelo back in the day. Um, Shout out to Dion for being a great dad and like believing in his sons and trying to put them in positions to succeed. But it gets to a point where like it almost hinders them because they're not going to be able to sort of get out of their dad's shadow. Unfortunately, how do you feel about it, Cohen? Like, I know maybe you might not have much else to add about why he slid like that. I think I kind of covered a bunch of it, but like where does this, like what kind of position does this put Shador in, and how does this all look coming out of it?
The matter of the fact is that there's no reason they should be using his dad as a reason to kind of hold it against him. Be honest, his dad, he's not affiliated with your team. His son's on the team. That's about it. It's not like you hired Dion. Like, just it may bring unwanted attention, but in the end of the day, it's more attention for your team, and it's not necessarily negative. Once it's negative, that's when you take action. But
Yeah,
there's no reason
I know.
to
Yeah,
harp on it and kind of just
I think
get
everybody was kind
punished.
of,
It's specifically
yeah.
to punish him, punish Shador for something
Yeah,
his dad's doing.
yeah, I think it's just the unfortunate truth though that like that everybody was kind of, all the teams were kind of scared and they didn't. But also, I have heard the things about how Shadur's official interviews, he was going to teams and being very brash and saying like, "Don't draft me unless you're willing to change the whole culture of your team and build the team around me." And he skipped out on the combine, held a personal pro day back in Colorado. Or well, I know they all have pro days, but held a specific private. I don't know. I think it, unfortunately, the vibe that it comes from is that, I mean, and yes, Shadur's, he's really good, but that doesn't always translate from college to the pros. So we're gonna have to see what it all comes down to, how it all shakes out, especially with the Browns. Kind of makes me chuckle just because the Browns are in our, they're one of the Steelers' heated rivals, and you know, it's just a very Browns thing to do to draft two quarterbacks in the same draft. I'll never understand why they did that.
Why draft
Um,
Dylan Gabriel if you're just gonna grab Shador later? And Dylan Gabriel's not better than Shador. It just doesn't make sense to me. But
yeah,
Maybe they know
So
something we don't. But
yeah,
from
no,
my
that's what
point
I
of
mean.
view,
Yeah, so like I don't
it's
know,
kind of
they're just coming at
weird.
it from a very non-traditional way, and it's a very Browns way that they Browns thing to do. Cohen,
Indeed, it is. That is something the
quick,
Browns would do.
quick thoughts on your Rams and how they drafted and who they picked, and I'll kind of touch on my Steelers a little bit too.
Yeah, well, we ended up trading our first round pick. Obviously, we got some decent compensation. It seemed for that. We got first next year. I believe we ended up getting
Hmm.
a pick later in the draft. Maybe it was like a third or a fourth or something. Not
Hmm.
completely sure, but we got. I think we also got like a fifth next year. We got
Hmm.
some picks for next year and to help us this year. But in the second round, we ended up taking not wide receiver, close tight end Terrence Ferguson
Hmm.
from Oregon. I'm gonna be completely transparent. I don't know much about anybody we drafted. Just
Hmm.
the way it shook out, I don't know like much about any of them. I didn't know much about Jared Verse, Puka, Kyron Williams, and hell, they're some of my favorite players now. So
Hmm.
I hope that everybody we got can succeed. But yeah, tight end. We needed a tight end. It's just questionable taking one in the second round. But we definitely needed one because Tyler Higbee getting injured, getting older as a whole. Good to help on that area. Christian Roseboom seems to be getting replaced. We got Josiah Stewart from Michigan. Yet again, don't know much about him, but kind of another linebacker. It seems to be a pass rusher. That's what I've been
Hmm.
hearing about him.
I'm looking at
But
ESPN right here. It's kind of saying how they added depth at like a pass rusher because they lost
yeah,
Michael
because we
Head,
lost Michael. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's. I don't know how to say that, but yeah,
right?
to the
And
Bills.
then they also lost Christian Roseboone and Jake Hummel,
We
two
lost
linebackers
Roseboom.
too. Yeah, he
I was
left.
almost confident we kept Roseboom. Could
No,
have
they
swore
lost
we
him.
re-signed him. Well, that makes a lot more sense why we drafted. I'm gonna skip a few picks to talk about the other linebacker we drafted. We we drafted the linebacker from Ole Miss, Chris Paul Jr., my
Hmm.
new favorite player on the Rams.
That's
Solely off
wild.
his name,
All
Chris
right.
Paul Jr.
Yeah.
If you don't mind helping me out with the running back's name,
Uh, the running back.
round
Oh,
four.
Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah, I'll learn. But yeah, we got him from Auburn. Auburn, the running back. Yet again, don't know much about him. But
Give Kyron Williams a little bit of help.
and I'm gonna say it from the mountaintops. We didn't need a running back. We have Blake Corum, Kyron Williams, and we signed somebody that was decent for depth. I'm not completely sure, and I don't remember, but I know we had signed somebody somewhat decent for depth. But and then I don't know if you've seen, but there's also rumors about us potentially getting Ramsey back before the start of the season. So
Jalen Ramsey.
that would be yeah, Jalen Ramsey because he
All
doesn't
right.
want to re-sign with Miami. So that'd be really nice if we were able to get him back. But yeah, we got another running back. We got Ty Hamilton from Ohio State, defensive tackle. Our pass rush. Josh, I know you watched a few Rams games when the Steelers were on with me.
Hmm.
Be honest. The Rams pass rush is really good.
Yeah, that's the highlight of their
Highlight of our
defense.
defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
what
honestly,
really
I'm
highlighted it.
surprised we didn't take anything for the secondary because
Yeah,
I thought we really needed it, but I guess maybe we are getting Ramsey. Like maybe that's just a set in stone thing,
maybe. Yeah.
outside of the public view.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we're buffing up on our linebackers and our tackles, and we also picked Kanata Mumpfield. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's right, but he's a wide receiver from Pittsburgh. Averaged 15.6 yards per catch last season on 52 catches with 813 yards for 5 touchdowns.
That's pretty
Yet
good.
again, I don't know much about him. I'm calling it now. He's going to be the next Puka Nakua.
Shout out to Konata.
Shout out to Kanata, Mr. Irrelevant for us at least.
Yes, sir. Well,
Trying to strike a chord in is probably A minor,
oh no. Um,
if you know you
so
know.
let me go ahead and get to my Steeler picks. Like I just said, shout out to Derek Harmon. Praying for nothing but the best for him. Crazy story. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but he was drafted on Thursday night, and then I believe his mom was in the hospital, and after he was drafted, he went to the because she was dying essentially. He went to the hospital and was able to tell her in person that he was drafted by the Steelers, and then she passed, unfortunately. So prayers up to him and his family and everything. And I think that this is gonna just give him that much more motivation to succeed. But from a football on the field standpoint, the Steelers drafted him sort of to be Cam Hayward's successor. I feel like Cam Hayward is 36 years old, so no telling when he decides to hang it up. But it's gonna be a great that's gonna be a great vet for him to have. And if you're learning from Cam Hayward, who has had an outstanding career, a lot of Pro Bowls, a lot of all pro first teams and stuff like that, like that's going to be pretty awesome. And Harmon led the FBS last year with 34 quarterback pressures when lined up as a defensive tackle, and he was second with the 10.7% pressure rate.
Thank you, ESPN, for the stats.
Right, I know I'm looking at it right here. But yeah,
Yeah, I had it pulled up.
he just sounds like a dog too, and like you'll always take a disruptor on the defensive line like that. Steelers did not have a second round pick, so with our number 83 pick in the third round, we took Caleb Johnson, a running back from Iowa. He's staying in the black and gold. But it's nice to get another running back.
Gloves much,
huh?
Doesn't have to change his cleats or his gloves up much.
Right. He's already fitted. We lost Najee in the offseason to the Chargers, but we still have Jalen Warren, and we picked up Kenneth Gainwell in free agency. But it says he's a 6'1", 224-pound back, and he plays physically. So it sounds like he kind of has a similar playing style to Najee. So he's bigger than Jalen Warren and Gainwell. So we'll see how that goes. Round 4, we took edge rusher, like a linebacker edge rusher kind of thing from Ohio State, Jack Sawyer. So again, kind of beefing up on defense. Really, how the Steelers already have T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith and the young Nick Herbig, like putting another young guy there, like they're just really stacking up on that line. But I can't hate it at all. Like, keep on fortifying that defense, and like good things will come. We just got to figure it out on offense. Round 5 to Yaya Black, nose tackle, also from Iowa. Shout out to him. Big body down there. Like I said, keeping that defense strong. Round 6, we traded with, I think it says from Seattle through Chicago. So I think that means that it was that the Seahawks would be picking because they got that pick from Chicago. But regardless, we traded something. I'm not sure exactly what the details were to get into the 6th round to get the 185th pick to take a quarterback, Will Howard, from Ohio State. Says the Steelers finally addressed the position with a high-value selection in the 6th round. He's coming off a national championship win where he set a record with 13 consecutive completions and threw for 231 yards and 2 touchdowns with no picks. His ability to elevate in crunch time and big moments was attractive to the Steelers, who aren't done adding to the position as Aaron Rodgers' future still hangs in the balance. Well, I'm sold on this guy now. He literally, like, I don't know, like you said, there's obviously a reason why sometimes it's kind of strange when you see, like, you know, obviously he was the quarterback for the team that won the national championship. And you can kind of compare it to, like, sometimes guys who are the best player on the college basketball championship winning team and they don't get selected super high. It just sort of depends. Because that doesn't always mean just because and not to say that Will Howard probably wasn't the actual best player. I think they had, look, Jack Sawyer, who was also on his team, like got picked a couple rounds higher than him. But yeah, that sort of just addresses our need at quarterback a little bit because, yeah, obviously going into the year, you would rather have Mason Rudolph kind of playing than this rookie who has had no minutes before. But depending on how he develops and if he gets better in training camp and he earns that starting job, then yeah, I'm all for it. Or depending on what the hell happens with this mystery man, Aaron Rodgers, we'll see where we go from there. And then in round 7, we took another linebacker from Washington, Carson Bruner. Yes, that's how you say his name. And then in round 7, with the 229th pick, Steelers took Dante Kent, a cornerback / kick returner. So yeah, just adding some more speed to it. It's always good to get the help on special teams. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We had a guy like Beanie Bishop last year who was an undrafted free agent who kind of broke out and had a really good rookie year considering he had a handful of picks, and you know that was because nobody really I mean, knew who Beanie Bishop was, so he was able to take advantage. But like when you have success at the level, like that takes talent, and that's not just like totally random. So we'll see how everybody kind of fits.
Yeah, and Josh, if you don't mind me talking about one little last specific detail. You talked about how you guys had drafted a running back because you had lost Najee. The Chargers, who signed Najee, decided that with their first round
Oh,
draft pick, they were going to take a running back, which I
mhm.
am so unbelievably thankful for because it seems as if we were going to pick him and use our first round pick on him if they didn't take him. They took
Mhm.
running back Marion Hampton out of North
Mhm.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Thank you, our brothers from LA. You saved us from drafting a
Mhm.
running back in the first round that we didn't need that wasn't named Ashton Genty. So
There you go.
it's not a running back named Ashton Genty. Shouldn't be going in the first round in the first place this year. But oh well. Just wanted to add that Chargers had a little bit of a brain fart, but yeah, go ahead
Yeah.
and do what's
Yes, sir.
needed to continue.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
more.
mean, not a whole lot else to say about it. It's gonna be very interesting to see how all this shakes out. This got me super excited for football all over again. Again, we're in the midst of NBA playoffs, so that's where I'm looking at right now. I'm literally watching a 2-point game with 6 minutes and 46 seconds left between the Rockets and the Warriors. Warriors are down by two. Um,
We'll give you
but
some
yeah,
play-by-play once it gets closer to the end. Trust.
shout out to football. Shout out to gridiron football. Let's go. Hashtag here we go still.
Brian, whose house? Not Swerve's
Yeah.
house. It's Ram's house.
Shouts out. Shouts
We own
out to you.
SoFi.
Right.
The clip. Hey, you know what? The Chargers should go play in the Intuit Dome. Should be their home arena.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't think it's big enough, but
No, it's definitely not.
anyways, I
Hmm.
don't know if they could fit a field.
Yeah, probably not. So, after that terribly awkward silence, Cohen, why don't you go ahead and let's talk about some wrestling, some good old professional wrestling. Um, touch a little bit on SmackDown last week that opened the show as they build up to John Cena versus Randy Orton. That we knew inevitably was going to happen during this final run with John Cena. I'm kind of glad they're doing it now, not necessarily to get it out of the way, but we know that obviously, like from an in-ring standpoint, there's probably going to be better matches down the line. But this is going to be one of the most memorable of the year to me, just off of pure nostalgia. Because look, earlier when they were hyping it up on Raw, they were like, I think they're going to really be built really be how do I say they're going to really be hammering home how long these dudes were rivals for. And the first ever time they showed the first ever time they fought for a championship on a pay per view, that was SummerSlam 2007. I remember that show so vividly. I was 9 years old. That was like within the first year that me and Jimmy, uh, my younger brother, really got into wrestling.
Yeah,
And we were full blown into it. And that was a crazy show. And they showed John Cena versus Randy Orton, and what a time that was. But that's just to say, it took me back for the nostalgia. They kind of built it up, solid promo work from both of those guys, as is expected. But yeah, they got a few more episodes, at least two more episodes of SmackDown to build up to it. But I
two
am
more
looking
episodes of
forward to it.
SmackDown, one of Raw. So
Yes, sir.
wouldn't doubt them being on Raw and SmackDown next week just to build up as much as you can for a historic
Uh-huh.
rivalry like this. But
Of course.
not much to talk about really for that. Just match
Hmm.
won't be amazing. It'll just be a nostalgia trip. It's pretty much what it is.
Dang. Hope they surprise us with a 5-star classic.
I
And I didn't get. Hey, all right, big dog. Uh, I didn't get to watch it live. I watched it because shout out to WWE's YouTube channel. They uploaded it. Because I was watching the Laker game. I was getting off work. I was watching the Laker game and stuff. So I didn't watch SmackDown live, but I watched it on YouTube afterwards. Shout out to them for actually showing that match commercial free. I heard them saying on commentary. But
yeah,
the
it was
TLC,
commercial free.
the triple threat TLC tag team match between the defending champion Street Profits, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Guns, with the Street Profits coming out on top with what I think is already a contender for like match of the year, which I think has a great and it's going to have a great chance to be match of the year. Um,
Yeah, beardless Champa, which was a sight.
really crazy to see, but it gives him another kind of like different kind of aura that I think is still kind of menacing and makes him look like
He just weird.
a different type of heel. You know what I mean? But Cohen, what are your thoughts on that barn burner slobber knocker of a match?
Holy shit. That match was. I mean, first off, why was that not on Mania?
Mm-hmm.
Should have always been on Mania.
Like they were
I
all
know
out there
you
trying to
love
prove a.
New Day and
Sorry,
them,
yeah,
but
my bad. It
like,
felt like they were trying to prove a point that they shouldn't have had to prove that they deserved that spot. But
yeah, that
continue.
match. It felt like they were trying to make it a Mania match because they knew they messed up by giving us it commercial free.
Mm-hmm.
Which unfortunately meant the first 3 or 2.5, like maybe 2 hours, 20 minutes were like insanely filled with commercials because they have to meet
Uh,
their commercial time. So
uh,
there were just a lot more commercials than usual. Of course,
mm-hmm.
little VPN Netflix action. I didn't get any of the commercials, but
Okay.
I I mean, because it still shows up in the top right when they go to commercial, so I could tell when they were going to commercial. But and just if you watch wrestling for a while, you'll naturally pick up on when they're going to commercial. But
Uh-huh.
they went to commercial a lot to make this match feel like a Mania match, and the 6 men involved did their part, had an amazing match, and should have been on Mania. Would have been probably a top 3 match of Mania.
Yeah, I mean, or that it definitely could have been the match of the weekend.
It would have been top 3. It would have been with the women's triple threat and the men's triple threat, which it's a bunch of triple threats. Triple threat tag,
Mm-hmm.
triple threat, triple threat.
It was Triple Threat
Good lord.
Mania.
They should have just, instead of like in My Rise, what were they calling it? Mutiny
Mutiny
Mania?
Mania.
Yeah, instead of Mutiny
Mm-hmm.
Mania, it's like triple threat Mania or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Sure, sure,
Should have
sure.
put a little twist on it. That would be kind of interesting to have a pay per view that was just straight triple threat matches, but
Mm-hmm. Well,
be kind
back
of
in the
fun.
day, to get off course just a tiny bit, they have you ever heard of the Fatal Four pay per view that they did one year?
Yeah, Fatal 4. Or was
Yeah,
it not
Fatal Four
called Fatal
way.
4? Wait, I thought it was, yeah.
Did I say Fatal Four pay per view? Oof.
Yeah.
But the show
That was
called
straight
Fatal
Fatal
Four
4
Way.
ways, right?
Every match was a Fatal Four match. That's kind of interesting, but probably didn't make for the best. I don't remember anything about it, but probably didn't make for the best show because like it's special when like when the matches are made to feel special because you don't see fatal four ways all the time. You don't see triple threats very often. So when they do happen, they feel special. But
Triple threat.
um,
Triple threats and fatal 4 ways you see often, but it's not on pay per views. You see them a lot on weekly TV, like
yeah,
throughout a
yeah,
year.
as a story device, as like
You'll
a way
see them
to
to get to like a tournament or something
uh,
for Money in the Bank or
yeah,
Elimination
stuff like
Chamber
that,
qualifiers or
stuff like
something for the
that,
Rumble maybe.
yeah, stuff like that.
But
But to
even
talk
War
about the
Games,
match,
like
that match was a demolition derby or a home run derby, whichever derby you prefer. Um,
a lot
just
of touchdown
spot
derbies.
after, no, not a
Good
touchdown
lord,
derby.
did you see that?
I did see that block by Steven Adams. He's playing out of his mind right now. And then he threw a hip check into Jimmy Butler's face. Good God. But
That was unintentional.
no, I know. But to the match though, like it was so amazing. Every team did everything so like one of the best like ladder slash TLC matches I can remember like watching like at all. Like just everybody going balls to the wall, like everybody doing it so perfectly, bruh. The tope con
I don't know
blockbuster
what they called it, but
over
it
the
was
rope, bruh. Doomsday blockbuster because Dawkins had somebody on his shoulders, then and Tez jumps over, hit the blockbuster through everybody else, like
wait.
insane.
What about the spot where the MCMG hit their finisher through a table? On I think it was
Oh
Gargano
yeah, the
from
skull
the
or
outside.
crossbones or whatever it's called. Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah,
A lot of extremely freaking like innovative spots, bruh. Like
and I
crazy,
don't know
so
what else
crazy
you
to see.
expected from DIY, MCMG, and the Motor Machine or not the Motor Machine Gun. Street Profits impressed me most in this match. I didn't think they were gonna do amazing in this type of match. I just
Mm-hmm.
felt it benefited at least Dawkins more so. I felt that
Uh-huh.
it benefited the other four. Well, more so, I felt like Dawkins and Ciampa were the odd two out in terms of
Uh-huh.
the match type and the.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Dawkins and Ciampa did not. Dude,
No,
Ciampa was the one who took the bump, right? up
Which
the
one? Off
up
the
when he's
oh,
hanging.
hanging from it. Yep, he took that bump.
Yeah. So
Those
Champa
two.
said I
Yeah,
might. Champa
those
said
two
I
were
might
the
not
ones
be
that
able
were
to
in the
do.
bump.
Yeah. Champa said I can't do anything flippy or crazy while I'm jumping, but I'll take a bump from 20 feet in the
Crazy.
air.
So
Also,
insane.
I need to mention this real quick. If you haven't seen it, search up Leon Slater TNA Rebellion. He
Oh,
did
I
a
saw that.
450 swanton bomb and nobody got him. It
Very
was
tragic.
insane. But
So
he's
very
fine. But it was
unfortunate.
just
It's fine,
that it
but
was
that's very
amazing.
crazy.
But I just needed to get
Um,
that off my chest. That was
uh,
insane.
but the
Ultimate X match. You need to do your research on that if you don't know what it
yeah,
is.
what's it called? Oh, I just lost my oh, who I think MCMG. Oh, it was one of them, but Johnny Gargano got hit with some kind of move onto the top edge of the chairs. You saw that,
Oh
right?
no. I think Johnny was trying. I think Johnny and Champa, or I think no, I think the Profits were trying to do it to someone, and then they kicked the
No.
Profits out the ring, and some I don't know what happened, but
Well,
I'm
you
pretty
remember?
sure
So they
you're
were
right
they
about
were
Johnny getting hit. I know what you're talking about. They were trying to put it like on their spine, and they were trying to like the two chairs were
yeah.
back to back. It was really
Johnny
whack.
got hit
Like
with it.
not
It was
whack in
crazy.
that way, but it was just crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy to see. But I feel like we're not. There's not many more unique things for us to say about it. Like, just great to see something like that happening on weekly TV or anywhere, whatever avenue, whatever kind of like show that it happened not just happened at. Just glad it wasn't a house show, because that would be untelevised. But
They would find a way
yeah,
to televise that.
amazing match. Still excited to see where it goes from here, like what they can keep on doing with this. Street Profits retain, good for them. I was glad to see that they did retain, that their reign didn't get cut short. Like after going so long without having the belts, they deserve to have a lengthy run with the titles. But
Also,
shout out to them.
the way that it ended with Montez on the side of it when I think
Oh,
it was Gargano
exactly.
and Saban, I think, or it might have been Shelly. It was
Yeah,
one of them. It was one of MCMG and Gargano. But Montez was like climbing up the side of it, 3 men on
it,
one ladder. Shit
like I
was
said,
crazy.
just so much stuff happened in it that was like so innovative and like you ain't never seen before. Who knows when you're gonna see that kind of stuff again? But
The
yeah, that
answer
was
that question for you, you're not gonna see it again.
right, exactly, bro. Those guys, those are six special individuals right there. So shout out to them. Cole, why don't you go ahead and talk about some Monday Night Raw for us?
Well, we want to talk about Monday Night Raw. None of this is in order, just because I didn't go through to take the order down. But we'll go in order of what I had put it down as. We're gonna talk about the least impactful. Probably it's gonna be we're gonna talk about the Rusev promo real quick. I know you
Mm-hmm.
caught a lot more of it than me, so I'm gonna let you kind of spearhead what was
Yeah.
happening during it.
Rusev kind of came in and talked about how he had all this glory. When he started, he was dominant. He's like, I had the championships, the tank at WrestleMania. He's like, but I lost myself, and just kind of talking about how his time, how he kind of his time with WWE ended unceremoniously, and how he went away and he went into the abyss, and he healed himself, and now
The
he's
abyss
gonna
known as All Elite Wrestling.
right, I guess so. Shout out.
I wonder
But he
if I
came
wonder if Aleister Black went to the abyss.
right. He came in and he's talking about basically he looks like he's gonna be not necessarily a full. He's gonna be more bad guy leaning, but he's gonna be one of those characters where he is thinks it's sort of delusional in a sense, but where he just sees himself as the
Like a
completely in
Drew
the right.
McIntyre and Kevin Owens, like literally
Yeah,
the character that they've been playing.
yeah, basically,
It's the heels that are so like their person like as a person they are so bad, but
mhm,
morally they don't see what they're doing wrong. So they think
yeah,
and honestly they are kind of justified. Both Kevin and
mhm,
Drew were like they
yeah,
were justified heels doing bad shit, but they were kind of justified. It's a weird sensation and a weird character
yeah,
to play, but
yeah.
if you can
Like
play
they
it,
can.
play it. If you can't,
Mhm.
you can't. But
Yeah,
I believe Steph.
yeah, Rusev's gonna do great, and he's gonna come in. He's saying like for everybody who's lost or wasting their talents, or he was like, "Don't worry, don't worry, the suffering is over. I'll pull you out of your misery and make you realize what you can be accomplishing." And that's very interesting for me. And Rusev has always been pretty good on the mic to me. And he's got a
And
lot of like,
especially for them having him stuck in a Russian accent
uh-huh.
for his first run. because
Yeah, well,
because
he does have an accent because he is from Bulgaria, but like he's got that
but it's not
European
as strong
accent.
as he put it on. He put it on a
Right.
lot during his first run. Like
Yeah,
in if you
but
go
I
and
just
watch
see
him
him.
talk in AEW, it's a lot less
Yeah, a lot less
noticeable.
kind of accent, right? Like, but I'm excited to see what he's able to do. They did just sign Lana, well, CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana. They did just sign her to a
She'll be
Legends contract.
she'll
So
probably come back as Lana for Rusev
yeah,
if
yeah,
they once he turns face, he'll probably stay without her as a heel.
yeah,
And then
probably.
maybe we can get Matthew Redwool, I think is what he's going by in TNA, which is
Mhm,
Aiden English.
mhm. Yeah,
He's their
so
commentator. Yeah,
that's gonna be
if you're not
interesting.
tuned into TNA, you need to tune into TNA. Like it's so dope. But
Yeah, but I'm really excited to see where Rusev can what he can do with it, and if but WWE if they put the time and effort into him being into like taking him seriously and giving him everything he needs to succeed, and all they can really give him is the stories because whatever you give him, he's gonna execute and he's gonna do well. But
I
if
mean,
they
he
give him,
executed against Cena. I mean, I think he had some of Cena's better matches in that stretch of his career.
Mhm, most likely, I would say so.
It was that,
But
and then
yeah,
the matches against AJ and Seth, and he had a lot of matches against other people in that stretch.
yeah, really looking forward to all that. Shout out to Rusev.
Yeah, and I do believe we need to speak about this because we both done goofed and didn't think about it. Aleister Black
Mm,
returned on
that's right.
SmackDown, and we didn't talk about it.
He did.
So
He
the
did.
Miz kind of
Came back with
with
his
his
whole
badass
presentation
theme.
and the old amazing theme song. Um, yeah, Coin, can you kind of what was Miz's involvement in? I'm sorry, I didn't catch all of that, but like, how are they setting up Miz versus Aleister Black for Aleister Black's first match back?
Well, it was more so Aleister Black saying, "I want to kill you, Miz," because
Uh,
Miz was just out there, trying to give himself a little start because Mello just won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So he's like, "You stay back here. I'm gonna go. Your time was like last week. My time's now. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go work something up and see if I can do something." He was kind of just saying he wanted to go out there and talk, and he went out there, kind of talking. Of course, talked about he beat John Cena like always.
hmm hmm
Talked about how he's a Grand Slam champ, as always. Hit his
hmm
two talkie lines. Said that he's awesome. Lights went out, and then out comes the returning Aleister Black with the badass candle sit up, which is unfortunate that he has such a badass entrance because everybody knew it was Aleister Black in the arena,
hmm
like way before. Like you could hear a random pop in the middle of Miz's promo, and he said nothing pop worthy, but just because people noticed that they were setting up the candles and everything.
Yeah.
But no, they ended up setting up, and Aleister Black ended up just doing his whole entrance, doing the flip into the ring, and just sitting there crisscross applesauce, and Miz just sat there and kind of watched. But
Yeah.
he got up. Miz tried hitting him. Aleister Black did the black mass, and then did the crisscross applesauce. Lights went back out, and then we went to commercial, or maybe it was another backstage segment. But regardless, moved on from that.
hmm
And that's really all there was to it. But Aleister Black is taking on Miz this Friday,
Can't
which
wait for it.
is May 2nd, 2025.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So, do you have anything to add to that?
No, nope. You said it all, big dog.
All right. So we'll move on to okay. Opinions on the thing since I kind of said it all. Good or bad? Did you like how they? Good or bad? Did you like how they did Aleister Black's return?
Well, yeah, like I said, I didn't see all that other stuff with the Miz, but I mean, I saw his entrance and everything. I'm just glad that he's got the same presentation
They
he
didn't Death
had.
Rebel him yet.
Yeah, hopefully, I
They
pray
Death
that day
Rebel
never
Rusev.
comes. Pray that day never comes. But let's go. Shout out to Alice Black. Can't wait for it.
All right, so now we're gonna. Did you see the McAfee segment? Because that's what we're talking about next.
Yes, I
Pat
did.
McAfee had a badass promo where he dropped a few f bombs
Mhm.
for no reason. On Gunther, and Netflix, being the L mans that they are, wouldn't let him say it. She kept bleeping it. But Josh, you saw it. I've kind of carried the last two. Go ahead and give us a little rundown of what happened.
Yeah, well, it's just Pat McAfee, kind of selling himself and letting everybody know that like just giving everybody his background and how he's a fighter and he's gonna it was about himself for a minute and how he's worked hard to get to where he is and stuff like that. But then he touched on the reason everything that happened with Gunther choking him out last week. But the reason that Pat McAfee got choked out was because he was stopping Gunther from doing anything to Michael Cole. And big up Michael, and really hyped up Michael Cole as the GOAT, which he is in my opinion, GOAT commentator.
Best commentator of all time.
He
I know
hyped
my
him
dad
up.
would very highly disagree. He loves
hyped
himself
up.
from Tony Schiavone.
Oh right, yeah, Tony Schiavone's goated too, but he hyped up Michael Cole and basically said that he wants to fight Gunther. He wants to fight Gunther. Gunther, like they announced, he was fined and suspended indefinitely and stuff like that. But Pat's like, I don't give a damn or a bleep.
He said, I thought he said he said something before it. Whatever. I'm interrupting for no reason.
Right. That you are.
Oh, yeah, I think he said flying and then bleep, but maybe I'm wrong.
But yeah, basically, then why is Adam Pearce off TV? I'm not caught up on that.
I think he just took a day off, so I think they were just letting him have a day off because I don't know if you see, Nick Aldis doesn't do it much, but Adam Pearce, every single like Saturday or Sunday, he'll post something on Instagram and he'll be walking his dog, and it's just him running down what they have planned every single Saturday and Sunday. And I've never seen Nick Aldis do that, but like once, and he's always just chilling in his suit. But but Adam Pearce will be in athletic wear, just walking his dog, walking through his neighborhood. Imagine how funny it would be if you just see Adam Pearce talking about some Penta versus Dominic Mysterio in the main event for the Intercontinental Championship while walking his dog in your neighborhood. Like, just imagine that sight. But not. I'm pretty sure they were just letting Pearce have the day off, and they just brought Aldis.
Right, and then Nick Aldis comes out and basically just grants that match for Backlash to Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee versus Gunther will be taking place at Backlash in a little less than 2 weeks. But yeah, shout out to Pat McAfee. Like, I've seen a lot of discourse recently that people are getting kind of tired of Pat McAfee and that they think he's overbearing and stuff like that. And sometimes he doesn't shut up. Sometimes he will kind of like
hating on McAfee. No, don't hate on McAfee, anybody. Stop being weird. Hate on Joe Tessitore, not McAfee.
I don't know, and people, but for what it's worth, like he cut like a better promo than I feel like some of the wrestlers probably could. Yeah.
Hey, then that Lyra promo, which we're gonna talk about next.
But yeah, there's a lot of emotion there, and one thing Pat McAfee could do is tell a story. Like, I don't really know how this match is gonna go. If I was booking it,
most likely.
That's what I'm saying. I want Pat McAfee to come out and give some fight and surprise Gunther a little bit, but Gunther's got to squash him and it's got to keep Gunther kind of. If this is just what they're doing for one show, I mean, who knows what they end up doing with it? But for this being just this match for this one show kind of thing, gotta, even though since Gunther just lost the belt, gotta keep him strong and keep him on and at the forefront of everybody's mind. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be good. Pat McAfee's gonna sell his ass off, and he's gonna take a freaking ass whooping. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, it won't be a short match. It'll be a long-ish match, but it'll be a lot of just Gunther.
It'll go 10 minutes destruction. Or something.
Yeah, and what I would put a lot of money on Pat McAfee doing something crazy in the first minute and a half and getting a 2 count on Gunther, a 2.9 count just off shot, and then Gunther just gets up and just runs them around the arena. And if they want this match to be somewhat longer, I would like them to get some sort of stipulation on it, because McAfee can go, but he could go with Gunther. I know in ring he can handle it. I know he can. He handled Cole perfectly fine. But in order for him to be able to handle him, in order for him to be able to stand toe to toe with Gunther and actually have a match where it's not kind of degrading of Gunther, they have to put a stipulation to let McAfee use a little bit of weapons to kind of get an upper hand.
To justify it a little bit. I feel that. That makes a lot of sense.
And if they do get a stipulation, then this match could go 15-20, and it could be a really good match. But otherwise, it should go over 10, maybe 12, 13 minutes.
It could be very surprising, like Bad Bunny and Damian Priest was. But
I honestly think that you should expect a match as good as that out of McAfee and Gunther if they give him time.
yeah,
Honestly, I think
like I said,
better
that one,
is
like I
because
said, that
Bad Bunny that
San,
was a one off. McAfee has had
yeah,
three,
but that
4,
San,
5 matches already.
but that San Juan street fight, as this game comes down to the last second, 14 seconds left. Warriors are winning 107, 106. They called a timeout. Wow.
Van
Um,
Ellen just kept his dribble.
um, but back to that, like that San Juan street fight, that was very weapons assisted and stuff like that, and a lot of shenanigans. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. So not much more to say. I think that match will be surprisingly good. I'm gonna say not slay. I wouldn't be surprised if this match is a sleeper for a top 2 match of the night if they
Mhm.
give them time and
Yeah,
specifically a stipulation. Because if they don't give the stipulation, it's just gonna be a glorified
yeah,
squash match.
yeah.
But if
That
they
Gunther
give
might
them
get
time,
yeah that Gunther might get disqualified for like not breaking the hold or something like that. But I know what you mean.
yeah. But if they give them time, I promise everyone to expect a lot out of this match.
Yeah, for sure.
McAfee isn't just any commentator. This isn't gonna be a what? It was Jerry the King Lawler versus Michael Cole at
Hmm.
Mania or whatever. It's not gonna be
Yeah.
that match. That's not what type of commentator McAfee is. He can go. He's like Wade Barrett, Corey Graves. He could
Uh,
go. So
mhm.
expect something good from McAfee.
Yes, sir. What do we got next going?
All right. So up next we got Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch. You didn't see much of this, no?
On the segment?
Yeah. Did you see the segment?
Yeah, I saw it, but you can keep
All right.
you can do it.
All right, so Becky Lynch came out. Whoa, said pretty much right off the bat. Correct me if I'm wrong. She kind of just off the bat was like, "Yeah, I tagged Bailey. So what?"
Hmm.
And then
She
she
was
just kind
not
of
going to
went
be
off
a
for a
whole
little
dinner.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of just went off for a second, kind of spazzing out, and then Lyra Valkyria pulled up, and it got all in her face, saying that she doesn't want to be Becky Lynch, and then kind
Hmm.
of just ran Becky out of the ring by approaching her, and then they pretty much set up the match, and just by kind of saying that Becky didn't
Oh,
won't
it was
fight
definitely
unless she wants to
physical.
fight.
You saw it get
Not
physical,
not,
right?
not no, but that's not what we're talking about. I'm midway through. We're not there yet, Josh.
Oh wait.
We're at the
Oh.
part where when Lyra like ran Becky out of the ring like she wanted to fight, and then Becky
Mm.
kind of rolled out the ring,
Oh,
and
that's
Becky
right. My bad.
and
My fault.
Lyra was like talking all that smack. You want to fight, and Becky was like, "Big time. Bex only fights when she wants to fight."
Uh huh.
And then Lyra was like, "How about we fight at Backlash then? And I know you're not gonna fight me unless I put this on the line, referencing the IC title. So I will." And then it got made official by Adam Pierce, who wasn't there, but the commentators were like, "Yeah, Nick Aldis checked Adam Pierce, blah blah blah." That got made official. Becky ran, she kind of ran away, and then when Lyra was on the ramp, kind of celebrating, I mean, Becky just blindsided her and took her out yet again. So,
Hmm.
Josh, what are your feelings on that?
I'm interested to see how this plays out. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It could definitely elevate Lyra's status a little bit. Like she is the IC. She is the first ever women's IC champ, so that's already elevating her status. But having this kind of like pretty intense feud, like this feud that got super intense, like all in the span of 24 hours, and then 1 week later, it's gotten even more intense. I think it's really gonna elevate her a lot. And Becky is still like that in the ring. She's still goaded.
I gotta
So
say, I thought she lost a step at that Mania match. That Mania match was not good whatsoever. Just want to get that out of the way.
Fred Van Fleet got a clean look off. He did not
Wait,
send it
don't
to
say anything.
overtime.
Aw, man. Oh,
Warriors
front
winning
ram.
109 to 106, and Draymond Green being the heel of the year, yelling at the camera.
So,
Um,
to give you all the little quick update, Houston has been eliminated. Golden State takes the series 4-1. Golden State look forward to playing you in the second round. See y'all there.
I don't really understand that, but
What, I can't say that I'm looking forward to playing Golden State.
the series not over yet, big dog.
They just won. Did they update it? I thought they were up 3-1. No.
No, no, that
Oopsies.
was game 4.
I thought that was
Oof.
game.
Well,
I
yeah,
thought this.
it's gonna be
I
good.
thought that was game 5. My fault.
Crazy work. Um, so Cohen, what do you? I mean, we were kind of talking about Becky and all that. What do you? What? How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's all right. It's just it's whatever. It's just here to get the belt on Becky and get her close to being a Grand Slam champ. She'll be the first Grand Slam champ. She'll go have a feud with Bailey, and then she'll probably disappear for a little bit again.
Dang.
Um,
Well, well, I don't know if I totally agree with that. Like, I don't know. I think her and Lyra are gonna have a really good match.
but Becky's winning. I don't think there's a reason for Becky to lose.
Well, I mean, but what if Bailey comes back and costs Becky? That I could see that
But
happening.
I think it's bigger for Becky and Bailey to be feuding over the IC title than just to be feuding for a match, because that IC title isn't going to go anywhere on Lyra's shoulder. Just given how they booked it, unless it's on the IC title, unless it's on somebody like a Becky or a Bailey. I think it just makes the most sense to put it on Becky and then move on to Bailey Becky. And that's no
Yeah,
discredit to Lyra. I love Lyra. I loved watching her in NXT. But I mean, her match against Becky in NXT was fantastic. But she's just, I don't know. It's not her time right now. It's Becky's time to be Becky
hmm,
Hogan and
I
take
guess
the
so,
belt for a little ride.
and that's unfortunate because I don't think Becky versus Bailey really needs the belt. I mean, I don't. I mean, I don't know because it got kind of personal with it not being over the belt. So you know, I don't know. That's just how I see it. I don't think it necessarily needs it 1000%, but but it definitely could elevate the belt if they put it on if that feud between Becky and Bailey was over the belt. So I get you. I know where you're coming from.
I'm not. The thing is, I'm not saying to elevate the feud. The feud won't get elevated from it having the belt. The belt doesn't add anything. It's to elevate the belt. The belt's elevating, not the feud. The feud isn't going up or down by adding the title.
That's
It's
true.
about bringing the title to the level where two Hall of Famers, because they're gonna both be Hall of Famers, whether you like it or not, two Hall of
Uh,
Famers are fighting for the belt. I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying you don't like it, but regardless, it's about the belt, not the play or not the wrestlers in this scenario.
no, I feel you. That definitely makes sense. And then if it come if like I said, if Lyra does lose and the feud ends up being between Becky and Bailey, like whoever ends up taking that belt from one of them in that feud is gonna be like elevated a lot. Who knows? Maybe it's even Lyra again, but we'll see.
Yeah, maybe Lyra ends up turning heel or Bailey turns heel. I mean, who knows? Or maybe Lyra just takes it from Bailey in a little one-on-one match, like friendly. It could
Yeah,
end up being a whole circle to get Lyra over. But matter of the
yeah,
fact is, this is gonna be probably a pretty good match.
yeah. I'd say so too.
All right, so moving on to the second to last segment, the last thing from a show, and then we'll move on to our little fun game at the end. We're gonna talk about the Seth, Sammy, Breaker, Heyman, like just the whole thing that went on throughout this entire show.
Mm-hmm.
So the show opens with Seth, Heyman, and Breaker. Breaker wearing a suit, which I found weird. I think they should have just kept Breaker. I think Breaker should have kept being like Jacob was, where Jacob just everybody's wearing suits and then Jacob's just sitting there in his street clothes.
Oh no,
But
he looked fly. Bro, looked fly, but
oh no, he looked badass. But I would have preferred him to just like because he looks crazy when he wears a short sleeve shirt, little
oh, the
like tank
jeans,
top.
yeah, yeah.
Like just his arms are so big, it just looks cool, especially being next to Heyman. I swear
Mm-hmm.
his arm is like half the size of Heyman. But um
Mm-hmm.
I they were kind of just talking for a little bit. Didn't really get anywhere. No, I feel like they didn't really get
Yeah, I didn't see
anywhere.
him.
Progress much
I didn't see
past
the
this promo.
I didn't see the beginning segment from the beginning. I was on my break at work and I kind of watched it for a few minutes, but kind of watched the ending of the segment when Seth made that offer to Sammy. And what was that offer that he was kind of making to him?
That offer was you can either stay on Raw and be with us and believe in me being Seth Rollins. You can stay on Raw and not believe in me and become a target,
Mm-hmm.
or Paul Heyman can get you sent to SmackDown and he can get you a world title shot at Randy or John Cena, winner of whoever wins at Backlash.
Yeah.
just to leave and stay out of our way if you don't believe us, just because you're my friend. My
Yeah.
friend being Sammy being Seth's friend.
Yeah.
But as you would see later in the show, Heyman and Sammy would have a little conversation about it. Josh, I'm sure you saw that. No, correct?
Uh, um. Yeah. That was
So
when.
so you
That
can
was
take us
where.
through
That
that
was
little
where.
backstage segment with
Well,
Heyman and Sammy.
I mean, wasn't that sort of just when Paul Heyman was telling him that he would offer him that,
Well,
like
that's
in this
that
match, that world title match?
okay. Maybe that's what they specified.
Yeah, that was more so what that was about, and that just made Sammy think about it even more. Sammy talked to Jey Uso about it in the middle of the night. Um, you know, just Jey Uso kind of hyping him like, whatever decision you make is going to be best for you. Being being the real Oos that he is. Yeah, and then that led to the end, um, where Sammy essentially told Seth Rollins that, how you've known me for this long, you know that I never run from anything. Like, who would I be? Just basically saying like, why would you ever even offer this to me? Like, I'm gonna stand up for myself and what I think is right. So this is me telling you to go to hell, Seth. Oh snap! And then he
Oh
goes,
no!
and then we hear the sirens, and I was surprised. I didn't know they were gonna bust into a full blown match. Um,
Sammy looked like he was in pretty regular
mm.
promo
but
gear.
then he takes his shirt off. I'm like, okay, yeah, he'd be wearing kind of those sort of pants with the belt. So he must have been like
I
in some boots too.
he must have just been wearing. I think he wore the same thing as the first segment. It must have just
Mm.
been he wore the
Yeah,
gear just to make it seem like, oh
yeah. It
well,
was
fine,
not.
I'll
It
fight
was
him anyways.
nonchalant. It was nonchalant, and it looked chill enough to where he kind of got away with that. Feel me? But then Braun Breaker comes out. They have a slapper of a match. It was a really good match. Um, that uh, did Braun Breaker ended up winning right after all those spears. He just pinned him, right?
Um, I don't know about winning. More so, he speared the shit out of him to the point where they just called a DQ.
Oh, they
But
called the match. They called the match. I'm sorry. That's what happened.
because what happened was he threw him in the ring after spearing him about 18 times on the outside, and then he got up and set up for another spear. They rung the bell, and then Seth had got up and kind of talked to Breaker for a second, and then hit that curb
Mhm.
stomp.
Yeah, hit that curb stomp and that ridiculous like $1,200 or like $12,000, some kind of ridiculous expensive jacket that Seth was wearing. He was wearing
As
a suit.
always,
Yeah, he was dripped out, and he hit that stomp in those freaking fancy ass loafers that he had on. Crazy, crazy work. Um,
he's
but
rich enough
yeah,
to pay for it. You can just go ask his best friend Roman because they're really close.
right. They
Totally not enemies.
they totally just set it up going forward, and I'm excited to see where this is gonna go from here. Like, this is a very intriguing story to me because you got Jay, who also they set up Jay versus Logan Paul at Backlash.
Which I'm
Um,
not. I don't think anybody in the world is excited for.
well, I
But
mean, at least Logan's got. I saw him say on Reddit that Logan's at least gonna sell his ass off. Um, like he
if there's
does.
one thing Logan's good at is selling.
Yeah, but I'm glad they're also getting that. To get on a quick tangent, glad they're getting that out of the way now, so that Jane can move on to more like long term stories, and to get so they can just get this match with Logan Paul out the way a little bit, and then Jay can move into some more in depth stories and stuff, not just Jay going like, "You think I'm gonna let?" I'm glad he said, "You think I'm gonna let this punk ass YouTuber come and take my belt?" Hell yeah, that was fire.
Bro, and then Logan Paul was saying something about how he says yeet like he wasn't going yeah yeet back in 2018. Like, come on,
yeet.
yeah
um,
yeet.
um, but yeah, but back to the Seth and Braun and Heyman thing. Like, I'm glad that like I said, they're doing this thing for Jey Uso and Logan Paul at Backlash, which is gonna be fine. Whatever, is what it is. It's the inevitable match that Logan Paul is gonna get. So who knows if this probably will bleed into it'll probably merge with the world heavyweight title at some point. Seth's gonna go in and go and try to stack the deck against Jay, which is going to inevitably lead to. I'm doing a little bit of not too distant future booking, but like Jay's going to retain against Logan Paul, and then eventually it's going to lead to a Seth and Braun Breaker versus Jay and Sammy tag team match, where they eventually reveal the third man. Do you think that sounds too far off?
The third man being Trick Willie. No, I pray
Trick
not.
Willie. Imagine that. Now you're just booking mutiny, brother. You're booking the 2K my ride story.
Oh, I really am. Just
You
instead of
kind of
CM Punk,
are.
it's Paul Heyman, and then you got
No, it's
Seth
just
NXT
fucking
alumni,
yeah,
Braun
yeah.
Breaker NXT alumni. But wait. Think about it. The main people who I've seen, I'm sure you've seen these same people brought up too. Theory NXT
Mm-hmm.
alumni, Ethan
Mm-hmm.
Page currently in
Mellow.
NXT,
I
Mello
saw people say
NXT
Mellow too.
alumni,
Mm-hmm.
and then Trick I've seen a good bit, which is why I said
Yeah.
that NXT alumni. I've seen Andrade talked about a little bit, also an NXT alumni. Everybody that's being brought up is an NXT alumni. I think they kind of stole the mutiny idea,
Maybe,
honestly.
perhaps. But yeah, I'm really excited for where it's going. Like just such a fresh breath of fresh air of this badass, like crazy ass heel stable. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy to see. I'm really looking forward to it.
And it's really nice to just see non non bloodline factions kind of running the show
And
because
then I
and
love my
and
bloodline.
Bloodline Judgment Day because they had a huge hold on the main events of Raw and SmackDown for the entirety of the build up to WrestleMania 39, and it
Mhm.
was miserable. You remember when every week it would be some match of the Judgment Day versus Jay, Seth, Cody, and Sammy? Every single week it
Oh
would be
yeah,
one
some
of
kind of
the like,
combination of that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait. Like it's really got me anticipating and waiting for what's gonna happen week by week.
Yes. So, if you don't have much more to add, I think it's time we move on to Guess the Wrestler.
Right, yes, sir. So I am 2-0 against you in these wrestler ones.
But I'm 1-0 in basketball. And Guess the
Right,
Hooper with that
we'll get
Jeremy
we'll,
Grant
we'll,
poll.
we'll get back to the Hoopers at some point.
You know what? Maybe we do that. Maybe we can alternate between weeks. We'll do Hooper and then Wrestler or something.
Yeah, we'll see how that
At least
goes.
during the NBA season.
All
But
right.
I do want you to guess first.
Okay, you want me to guess first? Got you. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So basically, I'm gonna ask Cohen a bunch of yes or no questions. He has a mystery wrestler picked out, and I'm going to ask
And
him a
you can
bunch
give
of
me two options. You can be like man or woman or male or female. Like that's like it's different than
yeah.
like did they
We
win
don't want.
a title
Yeah, we
or
don't.
did
Or like
what titles did they win?
how many championships do they have? Yeah. We want to
Yeah,
keep
no,
it.
it's you
We
can
want
be
to keep
like
it away
yes or
from the.
no or this or that.
Yeah. We want to keep it away from the open-ended questions as much as possible.
Like Raw and
So
SmackDown is fine, and
yeah.
even if you and then you just say none if it's NXT or whatever. But
Yeah.
yep, all right. Guess whenever you are ready. I have
All
the
right.
wrestler pulled up.
All right. And you're gonna keep track of my questions, right?
Yes, I am.
How many
And
questions
and
I'm
the
asking?
final guess. What do you mean?
Oh no, just keep track of how many questions I'm asking.
Yeah, and then the final guess will count as a question. I think
Hmm.
that's what we've been doing. No,
No, no. The final guess will not count as a question.
or if
Um,
they get it wrong, it counts as a question. But if they
yeah,
if they get it
yeah.
right, it's fine.
If I ask 13 questions and then go like, is it gold dust? And then you say yes, it is.
And then if you're
Um,
wrong, it would count
yes.
as a guess, and then you keep
Okay,
going.
here we go. You ready? All right.
Yep.
Is this wrestler? Oh wait, no. Did this wrestler make their pro wrestling debut in the decade of the 2000s?
Uh, searchy shirt in
Oh,
2000. Is that what you're
brother.
asking?
No, in the decade of the 2000s.
In the
Brother, you
decade?
yes. 2000
Yes.
between 2000 and 2009. Yes.
Wait. Yes.
Okay,
That's what
thank
it
you.
says.
Thank you. Um
Well, I
he
didn't
has
think you were gonna ask that specific question.
I said searchy search. But anyways, let's see. Have they ever been a world champion?
Specify.
Uh, have they ever been a world champion in WWE?
Not what I meant by specify, but yes.
What did you mean by specify then?
I'll let you figure that one out.
Oh my god, you're a bozo. Yes, they have been a world champion in
Yes, they've been a
WWE.
world champion in general. Yes.
Have they been a world champion in WWE?
Yes, I'm not even gonna count you. I'm not even gonna put a question because yes, they've been a world champion in WWE. I'm not putting a question for
Hey,
that. I answered that ring
okay,
wrong.
bro. Did they wrestle in NXT?
No, not at least for not a notable stint. Maybe like every now and then a few matches, but not a whole run in
Um,
it.
um, is this a male or a woman?
This is a female,
It's a female.
first one of
Um,
the series.
so it's a female, debuted in the 2000s. Has been a world champion in WWE. Hasn't had an actual full run in NXT. Um, um, has she ever been a tag team champion?
Yes,
Brother. Um, I'm very confused right now. Bro, I'm kind of tripping on what kind of questions to ask.
I know that
Um,
was the point. When I changed it to a female, everything got combobbled.
mm, has have they ever have they ever been a world champion at WrestleMania?
No,
Um,
and I'm gonna say that because I'm 90% sure she wasn't.
oh man, good, 90%
I'm
sure.
gonna, you know what? I'm gonna tell you no. I promise. I promise. There's no way.
Um, um, oh, I think I might know. Um,
Who was it?
wait a second. Is it Mickey James?
No, it's not Mickey
Yeah.
James. Up into 8.
Damn. Was that a solid guess? But
Yeah.
you said they made
Yes,
their
they made their debut
debut
in the
in
2000s. So
from between
2000 to
from
2000
2000 to
to
2009.
yeah, it was in between that in that era.
Okay. Okay. Um, have they ever held any titles other than a? So was their world title on the main roster?
Yes,
That was a
because
that was a stupid
they never had
question
a
to ask.
major run in NXT.
Brother.
And I'm
Um,
saying their WWE debut was in 2000 in the 2000s. I had to stop myself. I was about to say the exact year.
um, like a woman. What in the world? Um,
Mickey James is around the time frame. Think around there. I think that should be around the area. You should be thinking maybe a little bit later.
um, you said they've never been a tag team champion?
No, I said they were when you asked.
Oh,
I
they
said yes.
were a WWE Women's Tag Team Champion.
Yes. Also,
Um,
I'll tell you this: never had a major run in another promotion.
see, I wanna like wait. Never had another run in a major promotion. Had a few matches in NXT.
Never had a major run in another promotion. Because I see a bunch of different um like companies that they worked for on here, but all of them were before WWE pretty much.
Oh my god. Um, did they debut on WWE? Wait, you said they debuted wait, hold on.
In the 2000s, they debuted in on WWE TV.
Are they? This is a dumbass question.
There's one question that should narrow it down, but
Are they a Hall of Famer?
no,
No, are they in the Hall of Fame?
no.
What is the one question that would narrow it down?
Well, think about it. A bunch of people from 2000 who would what would be the one question to figure out or to differentiate a lot of people from the 2000s from now?
Have they debuted or have they? So they've been in a women's Royal Rumble before.
Yes. I was about to say something that would completely give it away.
Um. Oh, is it Trish Stratus?
Nope.
Bro.
You're thinking a little bit too far back.
Oh my God.
They're
Okay,
okay. I'll
no.
tell you now. They're currently active, but they don't show up much. But you know who they are. Like if I was telling you to list people that are major people in the women's revolution, you would name this person eventually. And it's
Is
not
it?
any of the four horsewomen.
Do they have a twin sister?
No, it's not either of the Bellas. At least
I don't
not in
know.
WWE.
I'm not trying to drag this on forever because it's just
They're
like,
part of a historic wrestling family, and it's not Charlotte.
oh, is it Tamina? God damn it.
Won the tag title with Tamina.
It's freaking Natalia. What in the world?
You're right. It was Natalia.
That's got me hot. What in the,
Was that not a good one? You
why did
finished
I
at
not
14.
ask if she why did I not ask if she was like American? That would have narrowed it down.
Yeah, I would have been like, no, she's not. And then you have been like, Canadians. Trish Stratus. No.
Dummy.
Natalia.
Dummy,
Yes.
yeah. I'm a dummy. Okay, so I had 14 questions on that one.
So would you say that both of ours comparably were or should be like around the same toughness level?
I don't know.
Is mine obtainable? Just asking, is like out of
Yes,
curiosity, is mine
yes,
obtainable?
yes, it's obtainable. You know who this person is.
I know
Just you
people on
saying, but
speed,
you just
so
saying,
or in level up.
but you just saying not having a full run had me so confused. But they
She
debuted
never had a
around that
major run out. She debuted in '08 in
time.
WWE.
And you were
So I was
right that
like,
she was never a
yes.
women. I don't think she was ever a women's champ running like going in there. And I was just GG's.
Yeah, because she
Um,
had the Divas Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship, and unless it was like she went in as the Divas Champ one time, I know she didn't go in as the SmackDown Women's Champ. So I was like,
uh,
likely not. So, but saying yes or no wouldn't have gave you it.
yeah.
Oh,
So 14
right,
questions for me. Are you ready?
sir. Yes, sir.
I'm trying to wrap this up. I was just frustrated. I was just mad I was taking that long. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right. Male or female?
It is a male. That's one question.
All right. Currently active.
Yes.
Are they? No, I'm not. I was about to ask if they're full time or not. I'm not answering that or asking that. Raw, SmackDown, Raw or SmackDown. If that's
Not
if you don't mind.
neither one.
All right. So NXT. Um, NXT
Neither.
World Champ.
Wait, my bad. Did we say it had to be WWE?
No, 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 no. But you probably okay. Never mind. Okay. So not in WWE. Thanks. Are they in AEW?
Yes. Freaking
Have they been in
bozo.
AEW World? Have they been an AEW World Champ?
No.
Um, have they been a WWE World Champ?
No.
Have they been in? No, no. Have they won a title in WWE, specifically mid card?
Yes, they've won a championship in WWE.
Mid card, like USIC, or
1 second, let me see. No, neither of those.
so tag champ.
They were a tag team champion in the company of WWE.
Okay. Tag champ on NXT.
Yes, that's a question. You're at 9 right now.
All right. By chance, were they in a four-man faction?
No,
I thought it was gonna be Adam Cole, baby.
you thought wrong. I'm not making that an actual question for you.
No, because I said I thought it was.
Okay.
I just wanted to
All right.
clarify that I wasn't asking. So male active in AEW World Champ, no, AEW or WWE World Champ, no, not IC or US, Tag Champ in WWE, but in NXT, so not main roster, correct? Just to clarify.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right. Fatal four-way faction or four-way faction, no. Were they in a faction?
No.
Like so a group of more than two? No.
No.
Um, it's not Dash and Dawson because they won titles in on the main roster because they were the SmackDown champs, I think. Wait,
Yeah, they did something. It's not either of those guys.
um, yeah, cause they were Raw. Oh wait, yeah, they were Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
So not them. So it's not Cesaro. Um, I don't know if he won the tag titles. Um, uh,
Come on, give me something here.
did he win a tag title? Oh no, did he win tag titles?
He did. You already asked me that.
No. I'm thinking myself. I'm like, did this person win a tag title? Is what I'm doing. Like, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Did they win a North American Championship?
No.
Um,
Just trying to stop the silence.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Was he an NXT World Champ?
Yes.
NXT World Champ.
You're at 13 right now.
So I have one guess to tie. I have one. I have one question, then a guess.
Yeah.
Um. So they're an AEW, and they were a World Champ and a Tag Champ in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to go down the list and like think about it. So it had to have been earlier NXT days because nobody as of recent has left and been a main eventer elsewhere. Well, not even a main eventer, but nobody as of recent has. Did he win the tag titles? Is it? Wait. He won the world. Is it the bastard Pac?
Dang. Yes, it is.
Let's go. Cause I was thinking about the first few champions. He won it with that one dude Oliver something, and then they
Oliver
lost it to the
Gray.
Wyatt family. Yeah, and then they lost it to the Wyatt family, and then him and Neville and Graves picked it up. And then I was like,
True.
oh shit.
That's true. So
Two
you
two
didn't make any actual
guesses
guesses.
at all. I'll just narrow it.
So that was your 13th question, I believe.
That was well. Didn't was I on 13 or would that
13.
have been 13 if I got it wrong? I was 13, and then that would have been my 14th if I got it wrong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, correct.
I wanted to ask a question about him being like one of the first few NXT champions, but I decided to just.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have said when he won an NXT championship.
I would have been like, was he one of the first five or something? Because he was one of the first five.
I think
But
so. It went Seth Rollins, Big E, Bo Dallas, Neville. He
and
was the
then
fourth one.
Zayn, right?
And then Sami Zayn. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah. So he was top
Yeah.
five. So I would have asked
Not
that, and then
going
I
through
would have
those
been able to
order.
narrow it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the man that gravity forgot, Adrian. Yes, but it's the
Oh, as like a
bastard.
nickname.
Right,
Yeah. I
Mighty Mouse.
remember. I remember when I went to a house show. He fought Jeff Hardy one time. Just random
A
memory.
WWE house show?
Yeah, WWE
No
house show.
way. What a
Yeah,
pull.
I remember. I
What
remember me and my dad went, and I remember we got a slow mo video of him doing the red arrow, and it was so
oh,
badass. I
wait,
think you've seen that.
I went to one that we saw Neville at in 2015. I
I
remember
don't
him
think it was
fighting
the same one though.
I remember him fighting Bo Dallas. Was this like heel
I don't.
Neville?
No, no, all it was facing that, but when he first came up to the main roster,
Hmm.
or
Interesting.
he might have been on NXT at
I'm
doing
gonna
it,
need you,
but
I'm gonna need you to send me that video of him apparently hitting
I don't have it.
oh dang. Well you need to go digging. That's crazy.
I'll go dig
That's,
through my dad's
that's a
Facebook page
crazy
and find
pull.
it.
All right, big dog. Well, you win this round by one question. That is, so that leaves a score. The all-time series is 2-1 in this guess the wrestler shenanigans.
2-2,
So,
and any guess the persons.
right, two to
I
two
guess with Jimmy
overall.
Grant.
2-2 overall. 2-1. 2-1 in guess the wrestler. So, round of applause for you. But let's go and wrap this up because I felt like I made us take so long when I was trying to guess Natty Neidhart. Um, but yeah, good stuff. Good talking about everything. We got some great points out. We were able to.
I'm disappointed in us. Our timing was doing so well. We finished the NFL at like an hour, and somehow we spent a whole hour, like an hour 10, and we got to an hour 56 doing wrestling.
Insane. Why did you even tell me that? That makes me want to yak. But good stuff there. Great stuff. Thank you everybody for listening. If you made it this far. And
Say Hawk in the comments if you made it to the end.
yeah, say the man that gravity forgot in the comments if you made it to the end.
Yeah, there we go.
Um,
Look
um,
forward to seeing a bunch of comments.
yeah, hopefully. I hope so. But we're back to I think for now just doing one episode a week.
Until
As
SummerSlam, probably.
yeah, as we'll be able to sort of kind of squeeze everything in. Like you said, the timing was going well. We got to figure out some new games that don't take 20 freaking minutes. Um, but
Fairness, you got stumped for about 15 of those 20, but
yeah, and I didn't want to lose, but I did lose. But anyways, thank you everybody for listening. Cohen, got anything else to add?
Yeet.
Big facts, big facts. We will catch y'all next time. Peace.